Alright, guys, in case you missed it, the third Democratic debate was on past day or two, and holy shit, it was a shit show. We literally had someone standing on a booster box. Beto O'Rourke is going to war with half America and is planning on taking everybody's guns. He also made some incorrect assumptions. Joe Biden tells the crowd that to play the record player to kids to help educate them because record players are still apparently a thing. Bernie Sanders is extremely unfair to compare my socialism to Venezuela's socialism because, you know, don't want to admit that one. Student debt's apparently going to get cancelled, and Cory Booker vows to create an office to combat white supremacy. It really was a shit show. I really do feel sorry for anybody that's a Democrat right now because you have to choose between some of these candidates or Trump. And I know the Democrats don't like Trump, but whew, good luck. Let's jump into it. So, Castro has a booster box to appear taller on the debate stage. Not a joke. He seriously has a booster box. If former HUD security Jim Costa appeared taller during Thursday night's debate on ABC, that's because he was standing on a booster box. As the debate began, the opening panel shows at least 3 of the candidates standing on booster boxes. So, Amy Klobuchar, California Senator Kamala Harris, and Castro. What? Why are they standing on booster boxes? What? Because they want to make out they're taller? I don't... Wow. But anyway. According to those near the stage, Castro's booster may have even been larger than the boxes being used by Klobuchar and Harris. Probably because he's shorter. Castro, who is 5'9", will still appear shorter than former Texas Representative Beto O'Rourke, who's 6'4", who stood on his right. So that's an interesting thing. Okay, so there they are there. And you can see the height difference isn't much. Which is weird because he's 6'4" and he's 5'9". So, booster box confirmed. Oh, but don't worry, that wasn't the cringiest thing in all night. Beto O'Rourke, hell yes, I'm going to take the American guns. Okay, let's listen to that before we jump into it. Just so we, people know our own.
Check with constitutional scholars.
Mr. Vice President, thank you. Congressman O'Rourke, I want to come to you on this. I'm going to work down the row here, but I do want to come to Congressman O'Rourke because I know this is personal to you. El Paso is your hometown. Some on this stage have suggested a voluntary buyback for guns in this country. You've gone further. You said, quote, Americans who own AR-15s and AK-47s will have to sell them to the government, all of them. You know the critics call this confiscation. Are you proposing taking away their guns, and how would this work?
I am, if it's a weapon that was designed to kill people on a battlefield. If the high-impact, high-velocity round, when it hits your body, shreds everything inside of your body because it was designed to do that so that you would bleed to death on a battlefield and not be able to get up and kill one of our soldiers. When we see that being used against children, and in Odessa, I met the mother of a 15-year-old girl who was shot by an AR-15, and that mother watched her bleed to death over the course of an hour because so many other people were shot by that AR-15 in Odessa and Midland. There weren't enough ambulances to get to them in time. Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. We're not going to allow it to be used against our fellow Americans anymore.
Congressman, thank you.
Now, it's weird because I don't think the AR-15 has actually ever been used in a military combat situation. So, here it is here. This is what someone has said regarding the AR-15. Has the AR-15 ever been used by the US or other nations' military in combat situations? I'm very annoyed that a certain person answered this question incorrectly and always disallows comments. He knows who he is, and I think he should not be allowed on this site. Okay, whatever. I believe the free exchange of ideas, not suppression of spending and spending of incorrect or incompetent information. The AR-15 was developed with auto and burst fire capabilities, but was tested by the military as a semi-automatic rifle. There was a proven 50% improvement in performance over the M14 as a semi-automatic rifle, not as a full automatic rifle. The lighter rounds also proved more, not less deadly to enemy combats. So it proved more, not less deadly in Vietnam. Colt rebranded the AR-15 as an M16, then modified the weapon to fire only as a semi-automatic weapon, and pulled one over on many people who didn't understand the ballistics and falsely believed that it's to be different weapon. All military test aspects of the semi-automatic weapon performance, weight, rate of fire, length, the 30 of the 233 caliber, and numerous low roll, blah blah blah. I've been told by members of the IDF who fired an M16 in semi-automatic than the current AR-15, identical in performance and healthy and lethality. Likely also the mini Ruger due to semi-performance. When used in combat, the M16 is used primary in semi-automatic, according to comments. So, same lethality as the A15. So the answer is the weapon identical to the Colt AR-15 civilian version has been used in combat literally tens of thousands of times, but it's sold as a different rifle. It's sold as an M16 AR-15. Yeah. So yeah. So it's a bit of a trick question because technically it has, but they've rebranded it and they called it an M16. So, yeah. I suppose the answer technically would be yes, I suppose, but semi-automatic. But anyway, but yeah, 2020 Democrat hopeful Beto O'Rourke was asked whether he would confiscate Americans' guns during the ABC News Democratic debate Thursday. He answered, hell yes. Some of the stage have suggested voluntary buyback. Oh, okay, we've already heard that. Look, at the end of the day, I don't know how this would go against your Second Amendment. I really don't. The best thing is obviously if you don't want people to not vote for Beto O'Rourke, get him to vote for Trump? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Beto O'Rourke could beat Trump in a debate anyway. So, yeah. But that's Beto O'Rourke is basically, yeah, we're going to take your guns. So, yeah, that was fun. Obviously, a Texas lawmaker tweets that his AR is ready for Beto O'Rourke after debate, which is probably a stupid thing to say because people will take it out of context. We know what he's saying, but yeah, anyway. A Republican lawmaker for Texas made what Beto O'Rourke called a death threat. Yeah, I would probably agree with that, to be honest. Against the Democratic president candidate on Twitter, prompting the report to the FBI. It began on stage of the third Democrat president candidate's debate Thursday night in response to a question about a proposed the owners of assault weapons be forced to sell them to the government. O'Rourke said, hell yes, we're going to take your ARs and your AK-47s. So, look, real stupid thing to say. It really was. Like, let's be honest. Even if you agree with his sentiment, completely stupid thing for you to say. Was it Bruce and Kane? Like, completely stupid. Like, yeah. Don't do that shit, guys. Leave that for the left to do. So, yeah. I kind of see why Beto O'Rourke would consider it a death threat. Fact check. Beto O'Rourke falsely claims that borders walls kill thousands of illegal aliens. Former Republican Beto O'Rourke falsely claimed during the third 2020 Democrat president primary debate that physical barriers of the US-Mexico border built under the Bush and Obama administration have killed thousands of borders crossings and illegal aliens. Okay, that's a neat trick. Let's listen to that.
Beto O'Rourke, una pregunta para usted. In an interview 8 months ago, you were asked what to do with the so-called overstayers, people who come with a visa and then stay. And you said, I don't know. Do you have an answer now?
I do, and if you read the rest of that article in the Washington Post, I talked about harmonizing our entry-exit system with Mexico in the same way that we do with Canada. I think that could help us to keep a handle on visa overstays, but I think the larger question that we're trying to get at is how do we rewrite this country's immigration laws in our own image, in the image of Houston, Texas, the most diverse city in the United States of America, in the image of El Paso, Texas, one of the safest cities in the United States.
How is it the safest city and literally just had a shooting?
Of America, safe not despite the fact that we are a city of immigrants, safe because we are a city of immigrants.
You just literally had a shooting, okay? Getting up there claiming that your city is the safest city in Houston, probably not the best idea. Oh God, I'm sorry, but you start speaking Spanish in an English-speaking country, I'll just lose you. You just lose me. God, he's so full of shit, this guy. Anyway. Democrat, Republican vote to build a wall that has produced thousands of deaths of people trying to cross to join a family or work for a job. O'Rourke claimed when pressed on what he would do the last 4.5 to 6 million visa overstayers living in the US. O'Rourke claimed that the existence of physical barriers at the southern border, for which there are nearly 700 miles, are responsible for the deaths of border crossers and illegal aliens. Falsely. Yeah, a border wall didn't kill anybody, okay? People trying to cross the border, if they fell off the fence, that's because they tried to cross the fence. Right? Even at that situation, which is not what he's talking about here, let's face it. He's talking about people having died because they couldn't get into the country. It's hyperbole. It's, Trump lies 1,000 times a day. Meanwhile, we got hyperbole on this side. But we're not going to talk about that because, you know, me narrative. Joe Biden tells crowd play the record player to kids to help educate them. Oh my God. I need chemo after this. This really is cancer. I'm sorry for torturing you all, but it's important for everybody to see who is running in the 2020 Democratic debate. Okay? Because it's up to you guys in America to get out and vote. And if I show you these cancerous voting options, maybe it might enforce people to actually go out and vote. So it's
posing a tax on Wall Street speculation.
Thank you, Senator. Mr. Vice President, I want to come to you and talk to you about inequality in schools and race. In a conversation about how to deal with segregation in schools back in 1975, you told a reporter, I don't feel responsible for the sins of my father and grandfather. I feel responsible for what the situation is today, for the sins of my own generation, and I'll be damned if I feel responsible to pay for what happened 300 years ago. You said that some 40 years ago. But as you stand here tonight, what responsibility do you think that Americans need to take to repair the legacy of slavery in our country?
Well, they have to deal with look, there is institutional segregation in this country. And from the time I got involved, I started dealing with that. Redlining, banks, making sure that we are in a position where, look, we talk about education. I propose that what we take is those very poor schools, the Title I schools, triple the amount of money we spend from 15 to 45 billion a year. Give every single teacher a raise to the equal raise of getting out the $60,000 level. Number two, make sure that we bring in to help the teachers deal with the problems that come from home. The problems that come from home, we have one school psychologist for every 1,500 kids in America today. It's crazy. The teachers are retired. I'm married to a teacher. My deceased wife is a teacher. They have every problem coming to them. We have make sure that every single child does, in fact, have 3-, 4-, and 5-year-olds go to school, not daycare, school. We bring social workers into homes of parents to help them deal with how to raise their children. It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night, the phone. Make sure the kids hear words. A kid coming from a very poor school, or a very poor background, will hear 4 million words fewer spoken by the time they get there. There's so much we... No, I'm going to go like the rest of them do, twice over, okay?
Wow. So people from poor backgrounds speak worse words. Okay, interesting. He's probably right about that, but still, doesn't sound good when he says it, does it? Have you guys had enough of the cancer? Good. Do I need to say anything to this? That, to be honest, I think he said these words deliberately, record player, because I think he wanted people to do a story about it. Oh, look at Joe Biden, he's so out of touch, he said record player. He's playing the media. Because here...
We have make sure that every single child does, in fact, go to school, not daycare, school. We bring social workers into homes of parents to help them deal with how to raise their children.
Well, listen to this part.
It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night.
See, he corrects himself there. He says the right word, and then he says, oh, sorry, and then he says the wrong word, the old fogey sort of word. I think he's pandering to someone. Maybe it's pandering to an older base. Maybe he's pandering to the media because they want him to do a story like this on it. I don't know. But it seems very, very weird to me that he changed the words. Like, he literally says radio and television. They're the right words. No one calls it a record player these days. So, maybe he's pandering to the old vote. I'm not quite sure. But anyway. Bernie Sanders, extremely unfair to compare my socialism to Venezuela's socialism because cancer is not cancer.
Putting our young men and women into harm's way. And that's what I would do as president.
Mr. Yang, thank you.
Jorge.
Thank you very much. Vamos a hablar de América Latina. You haven't been asked about Latin America in the previous debates.
Can we speak English at these debates, please?
So let's begin. Senator Sanders, one country where many immigrants are arriving from is Venezuela. A recent UN fact-finding mission found that thousands have been disappeared, tortured, and killed by government forces in Venezuela. You admit that Venezuela does not have free elections, but still you refuse to call Nicolás Maduro un dictador, a dictator. Can you explain why, and what are the main differences between your kind of socialism and the one being imposed in Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua?
Well, first of all, let me be very clear. Anybody who does what Maduro does is a vicious tyrant. What we need now is international and regional cooperation.
But you still didn't call him a dictator, did you? He said, will you call him a dictator? And his response, he's a vicious tyrant. No, he's a dictator. Can you say the word dictator?
For free elections in Venezuela, so that the people of that country can create their own future. In terms of democratic socialism, to equate what goes on in Venezuela with what I believe is extremely unfair. I'll tell you what I believe in terms of democratic socialism. I agree with what goes on in Canada and in Scandinavia, guaranteeing health care to all people as a human right. I believe that the United...
But Canada's not a democrat socialist. He does realize that, right? Like, what he's talking about is healthcare for everybody. We have that here in Australia. We call it Medicare. We're not a democrat socialist country. We know because the democrat socialists in Australia, don't worry, we have them too. They're like They're like lemmings. They just pop up everywhere. The Democrat Socialists here want to change our system because apparently we're not democratic socialist enough for them. So he's just talking about a socialist platform, not a socialist, so he's talking about a socialist system, a platform, not a socialist system, or whatever it is. It's one or the other. I forget what it is. But yeah, he's talking about social systems, like healthcare. Okay. But that's not all you're talking about, is it? You're also talking about universal income and stuff like that as well, right, Bernie? Like, you sit there and go on about healthcare for all. But what about the rest of the system that you want to bring in as well? The rest. If you just want to bring in healthcare for all, that doesn't make you a socialist. That doesn't make you a Democrat socialist. That doesn't make you a communist. Bringing in a whole bunch of other systems all together, that is what makes you a Democrat socialist. That is what makes you a communist.
The United States should not be the only major country on earth not to provide paid family and medical leave. I believe that every worker in this country deserves a living wage and that we expand the trade union movement. I happen to believe also that what, to me, democratic socialism means is we deal with an issue we do not discuss enough, Jorge, not in the media and not in Congress. You got 3 people in America owning more wealth than the bottom half of this country. You got a handful of billionaires controlling what goes on in Wall Street, the insurance companies, and in the media. Maybe, just maybe, what we should be doing is creating an economy that works for all of us, not 1%. That's my understanding of democratic socialism.
Secretary Augusto, you want...
The one thing that I really do have a question about, right? Bernie Sanders is an elite. Bernie Sanders made $1 million last year selling his books, right? Bernie Sanders owns several houses. Bernie Sanders is very well off. To everybody that would sit there and actually vote for Bernie Sanders, let me ask you a question. Do you think Bernie Sanders is going to bring in a system that is going to make his life worse off than it is now? Not saying it is. He's got a good life, right? He writes books. He waves his hand around and talks like Papa Smurf. You put a little hat on him, he could probably play the part. But he's well off. Do you think at the end of the day, he is going to make his life harder to prop everybody else up? Do you honestly think Bernie Sanders is that good of a person that he would actually go through and sacrifice some of his own wealth to prop everybody else up? Right? Because if he goes taxing the rich, guess what? He's rich. Now, granted, he'll probably just set it so that the bar for the new income tax is $1 more than what he makes every year. But you get what I mean, right? He's wealthy. He's very well off, right? If you go taxing the rich or the medium class, he's going to cop it. Do you really think he's going to go through and sacrifice his position as a wealthy person to help the poor? If you think the answer to that is yes, why did he claim Trump's tax executive? Why did he claim Trump's tax exemptions? You know, the new income tax reductions that would mean crumbs to the American people. Remember when the Democrats said that? Remember when the Democrats were fighting not to bring in these new tax incentives? Yeah, those ones. Bernie Sanders claimed them last financial year. The ones he fought against. He claimed them. He used them. After fighting against them, after claiming that it make no difference, after claiming that, you know, they're crumbs and all this sort of shit, he still claimed them. Why? Because he makes more money if he does. He gets to keep more money if he does. No one wants to pay income taxes. Everybody wants more money as much as they can. Bernie Sanders is no exception. Why do you seemingly think that Bernie Sanders is going to bring in a system that is going to prop up the bottom part of the economy if he's not even willing to give up the tax incentives? That's my question to everybody. Sanders, we're going to cancel all student debt in this country. Chemo, please.
Guess what? You're guessing. All right, here's the answer. We are the wealthiest country in the history of the world. And yet,
no, you're not. I'm pretty sure you're not. I'm pretty sure that European countries were actually more wealthy. But anyway.
Yet we have the highest child poverty rate of almost any country on earth. We have teachers in this country who are leaving education because they can't work 2 or 3 jobs to support themselves, which is why under my legislation, we'll move to see that every teacher...
By the way, just on that fact check, I just checked this out. Look at this. This is why this is so full of shit. Richest countries in the world. 10th is America. Switzerland is 9th. Kuwait is 8th. United Emirates is 7th. Norway is 6th. Ireland is 5th. Brazil is whatever it is 4th. Singapore is 3rd. Luxembourg is 2. And Qatar is number 1. 25 richest countries in the world. Number 10 is America. Let's hope Bernie Sanders did not just claim the US was the richest country in the world.
Under my legislation, you can't work 2 or 3 jobs to support in this country on earth. Poverty rate of almost any country on earth. We have almost any child poverty that we have.
Now I'm trying to find it. Let's just go back to the start.
You're guessing. All right, here's the answer. We are the wealthiest country in the history of the world.
We're the wealthiest country in the history of the world. Not really. You're 10th, actually. You're not the richest country in the world, actually. 10th, according to World Atlas. Sorry, Bernie.
And yet we have the highest child poverty rate of almost any country on earth. We have teachers in this country who are leaving education because they can't work 2 or 3 jobs to support themselves, which is why under my legislation, we'll move to see that every teacher in America makes at least $60,000 a year. What we will also do is not only have universal pre-K, we will make public colleges and universities and HBCUs debt-free.
By the way, in case anyone's noticed that was 2017, here is the 2019 results. The US is still 10th, by the way. I even just double-checked that, just in case anyone wants to go, that was 2 years ago! We've changed since then! Okay. 15th is Germany. 14th is Iceland. 13th is Saudi Arabia. 12th is Netherlands. 11th is Monte Carlo. I'm mispronouncing. 10th is USA. 9th is Switzerland, which hasn't changed. 8th is Kuwait, which has not changed. United Emirates is number 7th. Oops, sorry, I'm comparing the same years. This one's here, 2017. Switzerland, Kuwait, United Emirates, yep, Norway is the same. Ireland is the same. Brunei is the same. Singapore is the same, Luxembourg is the same, and Qatar is the same. Anybody that wants to challenge me on it, there you go.
And what we will also do, because this is an incredible burden on millions and millions of young people who did nothing wrong except try to get the education they need. We are going to cancel all student debt in this country.
Thank you, Senator.
And
Thank
we
you,
are
Senator.
going to do that by imposing a tax on Wall Street speculation.
Thank you, Senator.
Guess what?
There you go. We're going to cancel the debt. How are you going to pay for it? We're going to tax Wall Street. Okay. So when Wall Street leaves the US, for example, right? If I was on Wall Street and I thought, shit, I'm going to get another tax. Bernie Sanders is going to tax me to the hilt. You know what I'll do? Take me investments out of the US. Put them elsewhere. Put them in Qatar or wherever it may be. Then who are you going to tax, Bernie? Hey? Who are you going to tax them, buddy? So, yeah. But don't worry. We're almost over it, guys. We're almost through the cancer debate. Cory Booker vows to create office to combat white supremacy.
If I am president of the United States, we will create an office in the White House to deal with the problem of white supremacy and hate crimes. And we will make sure that systemic racism is dealt with in substantive plans, from criminal justice reform to the disparities in healthcare to even one that we don't talk about enough, which is the racism that we see in environmental injustice in communities of color all around this country.
It's probably going to be head up by Jussie Smollett. But yeah, Democrat president, hopefully, but oh, Jesus Christ, I can't, guys, I really can't. Look, at the end of the day, this is your choice. Cory Booker, who thinks that white supremacy is a problem. By the way, the amount of people in the US that are white supremacists is about 10,000 out of 350 million. Not a real big problem, but anyway. Bernie Sanders is going to cancel the student debt, and is going to do that by taxing Wall Street. And everybody else, of course. Of course, Bernie Sanders also thinks it's unfair to compare his socialism to Venezuela's socialism, because Venezuela's socialism is failing right now, and I don't want that comparison because that just ruins my narrative. Joe Biden thinks that playing record players to kids to help educate them. Okay. And better rock. Let's take your guns away. Or you can vote for Trump, who's been already an incumbent president, who has already brought back manufacturing to the US, that has already lowered black populations' unemployment levels, already lowered black populations' poverty levels, has also lowered the amount of people off food stamps. Like, the American economy is soaring right now, which sucks, because I want to buy more spaceships in Star Citizen, and the Australian to the US dollar sucks. But let's see if it's changed any. And the reason why that's a problem is because your economy is doing so well right now, and ours is shit, that it is actually more expensive for me to buy spaceships because of the strength of the dollar. So normally, the Australian to US dollar is around 60. Here it is here. Let's put this up. This is how well your US economy is doing right now. So 1 Australian dollar to US dollar is 68 cents, right? 70 cents. So Trump came in office. Can we go back a few years? Let's go back to 5 years. Right. Trump came in at 2016. Right there. Right? All before this was Barack Obama. Almost at 95 cents. I think it was 90 cents. 90 cents to $1. Damn, I wish I had brought my spaceships back then, right? Holy shit. You know, basically 1 for 1. 250 US dollars, 250 Australian dollars. It's a little bit different because it's 90 cents, so you're probably looking at 250 US dollars, 260 Australian dollars, right? Sweet, not a bad deal. Getting my spaceships. You know, like, boo, yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, flying around the galaxy, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Anyway, goes all the way down. Trump comes in power. And it's gone down. Thanks, Trump. All of a sudden, my Cadillac that I was going to buy as a spaceship is now more of a Mini. This is how good the US economy is doing right now. It sucks for me. It's great for you guys, but it sucks for me. Because my Cadillac is a Mini right now. Trump, buddy, this is the problem I'm having. I want to secretly root for you, US president, but I want to buy him a Cadillac. So yeah, anybody that says the US economy is not doing well, there it is there. That's the US economy do it. That's the Australian to US dollar. Now, there's a few factors in it. The US is doing well, Australia's doing shit, blah, 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 you know. But here it is here. Like, look at it. Look. $1.10. Damn, it was actually cheaper for me to buy my spaceship. Instead of a Cadillac, could have brought a Mercedes-Benz. Hey? $1.10 back then? Oof! Oh, yeah! Yeah. Beamer? Flying around in my space beamer? But no! Trump had to come in. I had to save your economy. I had to ruin it for me. Now I'm back to buying a Mini. But yeah, guys, obviously, I'm secretly cheering on the US president here. Barack Obama came in at 2008, and it doesn't go back further than that. But yeah, this is where obviously the economy crashed here. So, and look, lately it has somewhat gone up a little bit. Let me just like really highlight. Like there it is there over the past 2 or 3 days. It's jumped up a little bit because of the whole tariffs, trade war, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, for the most part, it's still lower now than it was earlier in this year. Early last year. Like here it is here. The highest was 80 cents in March. January, February, March. So, yeah. But the US economy's done well under Trump. It's done really well. Which sucks. Because me space beamer. But like I say, this is not just a reflection on the US economy. This is also a reflection on the Australian economy and stuff like that as well. But yeah. So, thanks, Trump. But yeah, guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Apart from that, guys, obviously this video has been helpful. Please smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. I have no idea what to title this. Maybe Democrat cancer debate summary, I suppose. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in any of the stuff that we covered regarding this today. Like I said, there are 2 other videos that have gone up before this, so please obviously feel free to check out all 3 videos for the day. YouTube doesn't want to let anybody know when I put up videos because, God, that would actually make me popular, and we can't have that now, can we? I might do a live stream, maybe, or a pre-recording, I'm not quite sure. Tomorrow, I want to look at The View talking about Julian Assange, so stay tuned for that. Apart from that, guys, this video has been going for 40 minutes. I'm going to wrap it up. Have a great night. Enjoy yourselves. We'll see you in the next demonetized video from YouTube. Have a great night, guys.